Hey y'all, welcome to episode 149 of Consignment Chats. Ladies, how are you doing? Samantha, what are
Great.
you laughing at?
Just sometimes the timing of which you start these is just kind of funny.
It's
Oh,
arbitrary and random. We're like literally in the middle of it's like and
That's
record.
just
I thought y'all were done talking. Oh wow. You
Are
better
we
we
ever?
were.
I guess you do have to just hit record because we will never shut up.
I
Yeah.
know. That's
So
that's that's
So
why we
true.
do these episodes in the first place, because it gives us a platform to just keep talking.
yes.
So, I want to talk today about mental health, but more so how we resellers and a lot of us that work alone at home, how we motivate ourselves. If we can come up with some different ways, different ideas, things like that. What do you think?
Awesome. I'm always open to that. And I have some really cool things that have been working really well for me lately. So yay. I
Well,
want
let's
to share them.
listen.
Yeah.
All right. So, how many times do you think in a week you find yourself unmotivated?
Oh God, all the time.
All the time?
Maybe we can say
Um,
how many times an hour do you find yourself unmotivated?
yeah,
Let's
it
let's
really.
let's break this down into smaller chunks.
I think it could be daytime in a day instead of hour.
Okay.
You really find yourself unmotivated a bunch of times in a day?
I
I mean,
do.
realistically, I probably find myself maybe 2 to 3 times when I got my mojo and I'm in a work day, 2 to 3 times, maybe.
I think it's the switching tasks that get it for me. Like when you have to do so many things throughout the day, it's the motivation to switch because sometimes I just get in such a role. I just want to list all day. I want to do those things all day. But I didn't answer those emails last night. So I definitely have to carve out that time to answer emails or all those little things that are on the schedule is what I need the motivation to keep changing tasks.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I mean, I consider myself a very motivated person. So there are days where I'm always motivated. But then there are those days, and it seems to more like run in like daily cycles. So like there are days when I'm just feeling unmotivated. And it
Mhm.
happens frequently throughout the day, maybe 10 times throughout the day.
Yeah.
So I don't
10
know.
times
I
throughout the day. Wow. 10 times.
when I'm unmotivated. Most of the time I'm very motivated and I don't struggle with that a lot. But when I'm unmotivated, I mean I'm really unmotivated.
I guess for me, when I'm unmotivated, I can't count the times because it pretty much is just one long slot of time.
Mm.
So I really can't say I'm
Okay.
unmotivated 10 times a day. And if you broke me down to hours, that might be a much bigger number. But sometimes I'm unmotivated one time a day, but it just takes my whole day away because I'm unmotivated all day.
Oh,
So,
this is kind of interesting. So we all have very different motivational issues,
issues. Samantha,
challenges.
I like what you said too about changing your tasks because I do find that very difficult to move from one thing to the other.
So it goes in two steps for me because one thing is if I do the same task for too long, I get bored and unmotivated. But then when I do find that groove and I love that task I'm in, but because I scheduled myself in different places or to do different things, I have to change that. It more so makes me grumpy, I guess. And I don't want to change because I'm like in a groove and I'm doing really good. And luckily, my husband can tell when that's a thing because he will just like set a sandwich down next to me and divert the child and take care of things because mom's in a groove.
That's a good man right there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. He sees the cues and goes with them. I like that.
Uh-huh.
So, oh, all right. So if you start your day motivated, does that help?
100% for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If
And
my
what are
day
some of the
starts
things that
off
you,
in a
yeah.
positive, I'm going to slay dragons today kind of mode, I will go 100%. I was going to say something else, but it's not appropriate. I will go 100% until I hit my afternoon wall where I
So
just chill.
yeah, I think the beginning of the day is like a first impression when you meet somebody. It's the same with the day. You're meeting the day for the first time, and how you start that day is how the rest of the day can be set up to be, how your relationship with your day is going to go. If you start the day and your kid's cranky and the dog won't go outside and you got all this crankiness going on,
Coffee, you know.
yeah, I have to make my own coffee. That's ridiculous. So
Really?
that can really start your day off negative, and then it's harder to get motivated. It's harder to get out of that funk. Whereas if you start the day and everything's going right, and the dog will go outside, and your kid's in a good mood, and everybody's eating breakfast like they're supposed to, or all those things are lining up, then it's easier to be motivated and keep on with your day and your schedule.
I agree. I agree. So let's talk about what happens. Like when I think of unmotivated, I think that let's talk about what you do to motivate yourself internally without going to anybody outside of you. Like if it's just you and you can't phone a friend, right? What kind of tricks do you have that maybe help you without phoning a friend for support to get yourself through it?
I have a trick that I learned. I read it in a book, but it's Navy SEALs. It's part of the Navy SEALs training about how they get through that intense training. But it applies to anybody. We don't have to go out and do anything crazy, guys. But if you're having trouble motivating, you give yourself a choice. Am I going to make the coffee now, or am I going to eat an egg? Like I'm just using morning. It doesn't matter what the two choices are, but you give your brain a choice, and that automatically sparks motivation. Am I going to, stay in bed another 10 minutes, or am I going to get up and get in the shower? But like there's a choice and you have to make it. And that can spark some internal motivation without looking outside for anything else. Just think in your head, give yourself two choices.
You know what? I love this. This was actually what we were taught to use in our preschool classrooms back when I was in preschool. It's choice theory.
So Navy SEALs and preschoolers. Yeah.
Good.
All right. Good.
Obviously the same thing.
So
Yeah.
listen, here's the funny thing. We were trained in choice theory, so you're not disciplining all the time. If you're trying to get that difficult child to do something that they don't want to do, instead of saying you're going to do it, you start with the choices. You give them the choice. You can either blah, 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 or whatever. And it works so well. I never thought about this internally for me, but I do have to tell you, it works on your spouse.
That's what I was going to say.
When your spouse says, you know what, we're not going out and doing anything this week. We're going to stay home every night because we've been going out too much. And then your bestie calls you and says, hey, let's do happy hour Thursday night. And you're like, oh, but my husband said, we're not going anywhere this week. We're going to stay home. But I want to go to happy hour. What do? You call your husband at work and say, honey, Thursday night, would you rather go to Callahan's or Remy's for happy hour? And then he says, Callahan's. And you're like, okay, we'll meet at 5:30. Click. Yeah.
And by the time he figures it out, it's already 5:30 and you're having fun.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's great. I love it.
True story. That is a true story. And I did it during lunchtime when I was teaching. So other teachers heard it and they just howled laughing when I hung up the phone. They were like, oh my God, I can't believe it worked.
Well, when I was going through foster care training, they said that humans in general, run through their behavioral cycles like every 7 to 10 years. Mm-hmm. So that explains why men act like toddlers sometimes, because it just goes through in cycles. Mm-hmm.
Love it. Love it. Well, Libby, I like that because I've never thought about that, just doing it for myself in the morning. I think that's a really, really good way. Now, I would have to limit myself, though, and say, stay in bed for 10 minutes or take a shower. Well, when the 10 minutes is up, then I would be the one to say, okay, now are you going to stay in bed for 10 more minutes or take that shower?
You're always finding a loophole. You always find the freaking loophole. Okay. Enough.
Problem, y'all. So I would have to give myself a limit. Like you can only ask the same things twice. You can't you have to have different choices.
You have to psych yourself out.
Right? I do. Okay. Yeah.
Or
yeah.
I find that here's your choices. Am I going to take a shower now, or am I going to take a shower in 10 minutes?
That works much better for me.
Ooh,
I like that. I like the way you worded that. Yes.
Because then you're going to be taking the shower. It's just, are you going to be taking the shower now or in 10 minutes from now?
I like that.
So either way, the result is the same. You take a shower, please.
Right.
No. Please. Yeah. We appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Samantha, what were you going to say? You had something to add there.
Oh, I don't know now. Okay.
All right, so starting your day off right, I'm going to go back to our C Chats book club and the Slight Edge. There were a lot of really good motivational things in the Slight Edge and how to incorporate that into your day when you don't feel like doing something. I don't know if they're necessarily motivational, but if you don't feel like doing something, like you think about the bigger picture and where you're headed, like you just develop these little habits. So I don't know if that's motivational, but first quarter of every year, we do the Slight Edge for our reminders. So I think that is probably a good place to start if you're struggling with motivation or overall goals. Or even if you're not struggling, like it's pretty much a game changer, life changer, that book. It's pretty impressive. Yeah.
So here's my next question to put in there.
Yeah.
You're laying there in your bed. You've got your gratitude journal there because you're going to put what you're grateful for that day.
Mm-hmm.
And you have your list that you're going to make your list of what you want to do. Do you do your least favorite things first or do you not? Because to me, this is a motivator. To me, I like to do my least favorite things first because then it motivates me to get that off my list. And then everything else is like a cakewalk because I love it all. Right? Do y'all think the same way?
I do absolutely that same thing. Like just get those little things out of the way that I'm not looking forward to. I just like to get them off my minds. They're taking up too much mental real estate. I'm dreading it. Done.
So I definitely do that, like on my schedule or my to-do list for the day. I list all those little things I don't want to do first or the hard things. But I am like a hardcore procrastinator and I'm really good at moving them on the calendar to a later time or another day or transferring them over to tomorrow's list. So I need to get better at actually doing the tasks.
I was going to say, what do you do to battle that? Like if you catch yourself doing it, sometimes you do it so often you don't even catch yourself doing it, right? Because it's just what you do every day. But if you catch yourself doing it, what do you do? Like, what do you tell yourself to motivate yourself to just get it done?
I don't. I'm a people person and I have you guys to say, Samantha, did you do that thing? And hold me accountable.
So you don't, okay, you're not one that likes to self-motivate. You really
I'm a terrible self-accountability person.
Okay.
I have to be accountable to other people.
Not to yourself.
Oh yeah, I'm terrible at it.
Excuses.
Yes, there's excuses. When I preach all of these things of like, guys, why haven't you done this? Guys, why haven't you done that? You should do this. And I help people set goals and be accountable. I need it just as much as the people I'm helping.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not doing it because it's like, I mean, it is my passion. I like doing it, but I also need those people in turn to help me.
Correct.
Yeah. And when you work by yourself, it's really important to have that network because nobody's holding you accountable. Nobody's checking in. Nobody cares besides you, you know, if you got that done or if you decided to set an achievable, reasonable goal, nobody cares.
And if I was single and lived alone, I would probably be even more because I have Bill and I have Maria and they help, you know, like, did you get that thing done today? Or, hey, this needs to get done this week. Or like, we just check in with each other about stuff that needs to happen. And oh God, I'd be a mess if I didn't have all of you.
So do you do this? Like sometimes I'll be like, okay, I got up in the morning, I got some stuff done, but then I made the mistake of coming downstairs and taking a break and I turned the TV on and then I got into this documentary or whatever I'm watching. And the next, you know, I'm like, the day goes by and I haven't done anything. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I told Nick I was going to do XYZ this morning and get all this stuff done. And he's going to be home in 2 hours. Oops, better get upstairs. Like sometimes that's my motivation because I get lost in other stuff. And then I realize I have to be, he's going to come home and be like, how was your day? And I'll be like, well.
Yes. So I'm that person that like my house is always a disaster. But if I say I'm hosting Thanksgiving, my house will be the cleanest it's ever been about 2 hours before everybody shows up for Thanksgiving. Like I am such a procrastinator, but I can like get stuff done in the last minute.
You sound
but
just like me.
I've also put up things like I refuse to sit on the couch during the day. Like I think that was also because when I left my job, a lot of people thought that I was going to stay at home and watch Netflix. Like, oh, that's so great that you get to work from home. You're going to get to catch up on this and you'll watch this show and you'll do this. And so I got like this negative feeling already. Like, why does everybody, and at first, when I quit my job, I wanted to take a week and just sit and watch
Right.
Netflix. And I told Bill, do not expect anything from me the first week. I want to relax. But so many people said that and had negative things about it that I didn't even do that, which I probably should have. That would have been good for my mental health.
Right.
So I won't even put myself in certain situations because I would get into something and binge watch and whatever, and then Bill would walk through the door an hour early, as he likes to do sometimes, and I'd be like, crap.
Busted.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, same as Samantha. Like I set those like hard and fast boundaries. Like I'm not gonna go sit on the couch. I'm not gonna go upstairs. I'm not gonna like, and so I don't even tempt myself with those things. Like if I make sure that if I'm doing that, it's a conscious choice. It's not something I get sucked into, like, oh, I just went upstairs and made a sandwich and sat on the couch. Like, no, that's not going to happen in my life. Like, I will say I want to watch a show for an hour, or I am going to relax today, or I'm going to do this. And it's a very conscious decision. I make sure that I don't make that, like, I don't fall into those like kind of, oh, it's just free time kind of thing. Yeah.
I can stretch 10 minutes into like 5 hours real well. So
easy. Lemon squeeze. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to we've been doing some stuff different with Consignment Chats, and it has already made an impact on my life. And so that's something I wanted to share is.
It's these, right? It's the pom-poms?
Pom-poms. If you are listening on podcast, you're missing Samantha with her cute little eBay pom-poms shaking in the air. As I've mentioned on many episodes, and I hate to beat the dead horse or the whole family of horses or the petrified horse by repeating the same things over and over again, but when it is what your life is, it's your everyday. I have been in this kind of funk depression since my mom died, and I have not gotten back to being fully who I was beforehand. And I may never be fully that, but I'm trying to get, as I said, my mojo back, right? Like I'm trying to get that, I got to get this knocked out. And we made some changes from request from some of our C-chatters in our Patreon group. So we've always had our mastermind call, which Samantha does a phenomenal job of pulling up our spreadsheet and sharing our screen every week. And we go through with everybody, and you make your goals for the week. And then you're accountable the next week to not only do you make your goals, but you also on another section of that spreadsheet tell what you plan to do to succeed in those goals. Like what actions are you taking for that? And you know that you've got to face Samantha the following week and talk about what you have or haven't done. We've been doing that for a while, and that has helped. But this new edition,
next level, baby.
Oh, I got to tell you, we are doing what is our exact word? Morning minute
motivation in minutes.
Motivation.
Which Molly named. So that's hilarious that she can't remember.
I named it, but I couldn't remember it. We are doing it Monday through Friday every morning, y'all, and it is just getting your word of intention for the day. I mean,
and I think even aside from that, regardless of whatever we talk about on the call, which it is a word of intention, it's very quick, it's good.
And it's the fact 10 that minutes, like it does not go over 10 minutes. Like,
yes,
we make sure of that.
Yes. But on top of that, like before any of that, just the fact that you have to get up and check into something, whether you come onto the Zoom call and you check in on camera, off camera, however you want to do it, or you go into the Patreon group, because a few hours beforehand, we make a post in the Patreon. That's where you'll find the link. That's where you can put in your word of intention there. If maybe you have a doctor's appointment when we do it, or you're not able to, it still gives you that opportunity to check in and have a little bit more flexibility, but you're accountable to yourself in the group to check in, to be there. Even if your word of intention that day is relax and, Netflix. That's okay. Sometimes you need those kind of days, but you still checked in and you're ready for that day.
Well, I have to tell you, it's been life-changing for me. And it's amazing that just 10 minutes in the morning to meet with a group of people, like-minded people, and spout one word off and listen to their one word. And then we end it with a quote, like an inspirational quote, like it just sets my day off right on the right foot.
I love it.
Now, so all right, so the first week we started it, Molly, you weren't at all of them, so you didn't get to see Samantha and I. We were like, oh, no makeup, not showered, like just propping our eyes open. No, it's not super early in the morning for us, but it was just it did make me realize, like, I'm not really getting my day up and going in a good fashion. Like, if I'm not ready to work by 9 a.m., that's not good for me. And I was kind of like half doing it, right?
Yeah.
Like, I would be kind of like half awake, like nobody's watching me. I'll get a big shift. I'll maybe do a social media post, but like totally unmotivated. Now it's like, all right, I think we kind of pulled it together a little bit. Not that you have to be showered, not that you have to have makeup on, not that you have to have
Let's
your hair
not get it twisted.
That's not the
No,
point.
I still logged in this morning like this, and I said, "Oh, I clearly didn't look in a mirror this morning." Okay.
Well, yesterday I didn't even turn my camera on because I had been gone all weekend for a big multiple class high school reunion. And I was so tired that morning that it took everything for me to listen to my alarm and even dial into it.
You called in.
So glad I did it. I'm so glad I did, even though I wouldn't put myself, and I did find out today that they knew I was still lying in bed, even though I didn't turn my
oh, it was so obvious. We knew.
I was still in bed, but y'all, I did it. And what I love is that, like, this morning, there were so many faces on there doing it. Just everybody, whether they were showered and ready or not, had smiles on their faces by the time we were signing off and ready to go.
In 10 minutes. 10 minutes, guys. We're making it quick. Making it quick. And right now, because there's only 10 people in the call, then we'll get a chance to talk about maybe what we're thankful for, and everybody gets one more word or something like that. But it's only 10 minutes, and as we grow, then it's that word of intention. That's our focus. How are you going to set your day?
Molly missed when I played, we had a little extra time. I played to get us moving in the morning, a little Dolly Parton's 9 to 5 last week. We were like all like jamming by the time we got off. Yeah.
These are going to be out all the time. You guys you're probably already sick of them. I've had them for 24 hours and I love them.
I'm all for pom-poms.
I love them.
Pom-poms better than ringing my bell.
Oh gosh.
So I don't know. I wanted to talk about that and getting motivated because I know so many people struggle with that in our line of work. And
yeah. So my thing used to be, I had to be up by 7 and I had to get Maria to school. And then I would come home, and from 8 to 9, I would do my shipping. And then at 9, I had a meeting, and then that set my day. I don't go to the 9 a.m. meeting anymore. It wasn't setting my day off to a good start. I was actually feeling quite negative when I left it and annoyed. So I decided that was something I was cutting out. I will go to it occasionally, but only when I feel that I can handle it. And then Maria got her driver's license. So I'm just like, I don't have to wake up in the morning at all. This is fine. I can do it. I'll stay up till 2 in the morning. I'll sleep until 10 a.m. It's totally fine.
And y'all, she was staying up real late.
I've been living on Vegas time for weeks. So last night I set my intention to go to bed early. I woke up early this morning at my normal 6 a.m. like I used to do. And I had time to have coffee, make breakfast, do all the things, see Maria before she leaves and drives herself to school, and was ready to go on the call. I just apparently hadn't brushed my hair. But other than that, I was really put together.
Yeah. So one of the quotes we started off the whole thing with, and I think it really sums it up, is our intention creates our reality. So it might just seem like one little word, but it's so much more than that. Like that actually creates how we live the rest of our day. And I want to kind of refer back to Diane Lassonde, Fearless Living. That whole thing was started with an intention, with a word of intention. This whole amazing fundraising was fear less. And it can be so much. It may seem like one word, but it is just it can be so impactful if you carry that through your day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Amen.
Amen.
I love it.
So in a nutshell, y'all, what we're saying is join our Patreon and come motivate and do your word of intention with us every morning.
Yes.
That wasn't really why I brought this up, but hey, if you're looking for it, we got your back. We got you covered. And it has been a game changer for me, at least. I can say for me, it's been a game changer.
And for right now, you can try it for $5 a month. So it's like pennies a day to see my smiling face and these pom-poms. I mean, the bargain is there.
Yeah. I mean, our intention is to do this through throughout the year, right? This was our trial period, and I think it's been thus far a great success.
We're on day 5 and we're like, so we'll just do this forever. It's great.
Yeah.
What for me, honestly, Samantha, when we got off of that call this morning, everybody's faces from the time they signed on to the time we left, if you look, maybe one day we'll screenshot we're just signing on and 10 minutes later we're signing off to show how even just the brightness of the eyes change. And when we got off today with that group and I was looking at how everybody was like even if they were still in their pajamas with a coffee in their hand, their facial expressions were so much brighter. Like, I'm ready to roll. And that's when I was like, okay, that's it. We got to keep doing this. Like, we can't ever stop because it's making an impact.
So I've already heard, I mean, people have said to us how wonderful it is. I've already heard them talk about it in other Zoom calls and other meetings about how well it sets their day. And it just makes me just want to gush about it. So yeah.
And we may have, I mean, Molly, you were so inspired. You're actually creating something and been working on creating something as kind of I don't know how much you want to say about it, if anything.
Some companion materials.
Some companion material for our morning minute motivation.
In minutes.
Thing that I remember. Motivation in minutes every morning. Yeah, a little companion for you. So I'm excited. I'm actually almost done with it. So
woo.
Wow. Soon. So stop, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. ConsignmentChats.com, where you can find everywhere that we are, and we are everywhere.
Yeah, we are.
And if you haven't already, for the love of all that is good, join our private community. Talk about motivation and support. That's a great place for that too. And that is a free private community that you can go in there, get support, get help, have those kumbaya moments.
Yeah. And I mean, our content will remain free. The Patreon is just an added extra bonus. If you just need more.
Of us.
I do. Yeah.
I'll need more.
Our content, as always, will remain free and available because we believe in what we're doing, and we just love the collaborative effort of all of our sea chatters.
Yes.
All right, ladies, until next week.
Oh,
who's got their cups?
Cheers.
Thanks for joining Libby, Molly, and Samantha, the ladies of Consignment Chats, as we build a resourceful community of collaborative resellers. Find all the ways to connect with us on consignmentchats.com. Episodes are available on YouTube and anywhere you get your podcasts. In addition, join our free private Facebook community.